It's good in Kenya. People are friendly with the camera. So you have this. I always wonder what this guy, what is he doing? Hi. Hello. What is this?
Beef.
Beef? Eh?
Beef.
Beef. Oh, it's beef. So this is this.
Stomach.
Oh, stomach.
Yes.
How much is one?
200.
I'll take one. Yeah.
One.
Yes.
Chiri.
Kidogo. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Real Estate Trends Show. As always, I have an amazing panel of people that are with me to have commentary views on what is happening in the real estate space or what is happening with the people in the real estate space. Today I have...
Hi, my name is Martin.
My name is Joanne.
I'm Kevin Mbugwa.
Our last conversation, we had a talk about Kino. He actually introduces himself as Eve, except it was interesting to see him introduce himself as Eve when he's talking to Kenyan men, and then Kenyan people are like, Eve? What do you mean, Eve? Because when someone says Eve, your first instinct is, that's a woman's name. But anyway, the spellings are different. But anyway, the last time we were talking about the accident he had on the Kenyan road, but so gladly he was not so injured. So after that, he got to Nairobi. He's been in Nairobi for, I think, about almost 2 months now. But his bicycle has been repaired. So he should be on his way to his next adventure. But while he was in Nairobi, he took us to, by us I mean Kenyans, that's what I could see from people's commentary. He took people to places where people did not know exist. For example, the organic farmers market in Karen. Did you guys know that place exists?
No, for me, this is my first time seeing that market. I've never seen it. Yeah.
I guess I've ever seen such a market at a vlog. I guess the vlog's name is Get Candy. I'm not sure. They look similar. The organic farmer market and that Candy shows us on the vlog. They look quite similar.
Kevin, should I ask you or should I ignore because you're out of Nairobi?
There are places that when you hear their names, what comes into your mind is just good, nice vehicles, smart houses, good, something like scrammy foods. The moment you see like organic farming taking place there, you're like, wow, kumbe these people are just like us. They still need something to live on.
It was interesting to see the things that are being sold, because I think the whole idea is to ensure that they sell only organic produce. Because even I saw the lady who was selling him chocolate, she said it has no processed sugars. They only use dates which to put it together. Then I saw the fruits that were there. It's interesting how such places are brought to the forefront rather by people who are not Kenyans per se. And he also mentioned at some point that the place has so many foreigners, rather in his words, the place has very many white people.
The place, when you hear the location of the place, first of all, and also I want to assume, I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong, the pricing of the organic product. Maybe the common mwananchi, most of us, we cannot afford them. So it's hard for us. Yes, the place exists in our country. It is here at our reach, but the affordability, kidogo treats. Yeah, kidogo treats.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what normally limits people from going to such places. But also, I think it's also a mentality, because I saw the meal he had and he paid about, I think it must have been about 1,200 at most, because he ate liver and fries and kachumbari, if I'm not wrong, and he paid about 1,000 to 1,200, including the drink. So when you know the amount of money then you're like, oh, so I can afford going to such a place. But when you hear it's in Karen, the first thought is that must be so freaking expensive.
But it's hard to try this hidden gem sometimes because you have no idea. You're not about to go there and embarrass yourself, and then for the next minute you are trending. Sijui a girl
Yeah.
ate sijui chips and liver for 3,000. You only had 150 on a TikTok. It's tricky kidogo.
Many people like they vary because of the quantity of the food. Compared to that of Karen, you can find that in the local places, as in maybe Bera or something, it's more than that served in Karen.
That is true. Speaking of Kibera, he also went there and he was
Yeah.
scammed.
As you were talking on the side of the amount required on purchasing the food in different hotels, still for those hotels that are in nice places, I think for me as a boy child, unapiga budget bana. To say the truth, you see that kind of food that you're being sold at 3,000 or 1,500, labda ni it's kuku and ugali na chips, but the moment utakuja tu ununue viazi zako za 50, uchinje kuku yako, ushage gorogoro yako moja, my friend, you'll have used less than 500 shillings na ununue with all the viungo that is required in preparing that food. So you see, the moment you are so stingy on budget, you won't go into that hotel and start buying such kind of food on your budget.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound. For one person consuming 3,000 or 1,000, for me, no.
You
For
have
me, no.
spoken
I better
like
go
a
to a
true
kibanda.
Kenyan.
Kenyan.
No, for me, no. The
How
1,500
many
shillings.
vegetables?
Let's say, if you have the 1,500 shillings, ununue kuku ya 500 mzima yenye haijachinjwa, then you go to the tinga, you take maybe 3 tins of gorogoro na ushagiwe, that is 300 shillings or 330, 10 bob ya kushagiwa. Ununue nyanya na vitunguu za 100 na dania. Kwa hiyo so dania, nyanya, vitunguu, kitunguu saumu and also 100 bob is enough. You'll still have some balance to save for the next week.
Kevin has given us a budget. Proper breakdown, guys. This is
John,
the
why are you
reason
so
why.
The reason why?
This is the reason why many Kenyans, as I saw on the comment section, were saying they were not aware this place exists. Let's talk about his experience in Kibera. Did you see the restaurant he went to? He was trying to find a place to eat. So he got he got a lady who was selling fish, but the lady didn't want to sell him fish for whatever reason. But eventually she did. And then he had to find another place to buy ugali, and then another place to go and buy kachumbari. Actually, he was sent to buy tomatoes, on his own, so that they can make for him kachumbari, and then he will have to eat them at one place. Let me tell you, as a Kenyan, if I am to buy food and I'm buying in 3 places, thank you for the food. Let me just stay.
Same.
If you want some food, you can eat with me if you want.
Yes. Just take it down. Just continue. Don't fear. Just take it down.
She's afraid to eat with me.
Yeah, as much as he's a vlogger and he's trying to attract attention to the channel, it's also portraying us in a way that is very bad. Because Abu, why would you treat like our customer service is wanting? Why would you be reluctant to sell the fish to the person just because he's a foreigner? Alafu the way they were praising the meals, wow, it was crazy. Like it's like you are waiting for him to exploit him. And when us Africans, we have been kinda quote unquote racist, we don't see it until it's a black person being done the same by the whites. Now that's why we will wake up, this is bad, this is wrong, this is whatever. But that was wrong. That was wrong. Painted a bad picture about the country, and we're not like that. That's not Kenyans. Please, never saw that. That is not Kenyans. It's not
We're
true.
defending our country. That's not us.
That's true. That's true. And then there is something that I once said in the last video. Did you hear Yves trying to say that if he was in France trying to expose the dark side of their country, then he could have been maybe incarcerated in one way or the other. But you can see
Yeah.
how freedom, how Kenyans are free to do whatever they are. So that's why I was trying to say we don't have to expose the dark side of our country to the diaspora. The moment the diaspora sees our dark side, they're like, this is what these people are facing. And if I just suit them with a small thing of maybe like mostly money, everyone is yearning for money, then they will be like, oh, it's okay. So you see that strictness, if you can have some measures that can be put in place to guide on how to post videos that are going to expose a certain country or a certain place that will put us on a list of shame, then it's better you don't do it. I really like how you were saying Kenyans are so free, you can just do anything that you are after, which is so bad.
For me, like as I was seeing that video, as I was watching it, like the comments, people are saying that those people like are embarrassing our nation, as in they are supposed to treat all like akona pesa mingi kushinda watu wengine, like it should just be treated.
I was looking at it and wondering, but how much money has been given to ensure that the heaps of garbage that is in Kibra is cleaned up? And yet it has never been cleaned up until you would think those are rocks.
Yeah.
Did you yeah, exactly. That is, the guy was trying to say it's 4 meters high.
You can imagine for how long have those garbage heaps been put together for them to actually be that much and that high? Because when he was standing on the rail, it was above him. Did you see the river, guys?
Imagine
It
black.
was...
We are in Kenya and we just have to accept the system. You see, the known slum in Africa, and let me just say in Africa, it's Kibera. And that's why it's known. In fact, it's in the whole world now. That's why you'll see the ambassador from a diaspora is coming just to visit Kibera. And that's why I will say it. It's better to get independence in 1990s, 1980s. Hao mawaitu wangekuwa wametutengenezea Kibera, ingekuwa kama Kilimani.
I'm not so sure. It's the same way as South Africa. South Africa didn't get independence before us, but they still have a slum. And yeah, I was told their slum is not as bad as Kibra, but in terms of development, like when you go to the slum, you would find the heaps of garbage, but not maybe as much as we do have in Kibra, or the roads are better off, not as good as the main roads, but they are passable roads, not the ones that can make a foreign vlogger curse.
What I would suggest is I get Kevin's concern about us exposing our dark side.
No, I hear it too.
And us, I would say it's high time, because now citizen journalism in Kenya, it's a big thing now. Like everyone can say anything, anyone can record anything and post it. They should now come with regulations. I agree with Kevin, because now anyone can post anything anywhere, because they have not been educated about the ethics, what you should do, what you shouldn't write, what you shouldn't post. So I guess it's high time. It's high time. They say, oh, regulate. It's high time they do it. And yeah, just benye kuna media council enye inaangalia the journalist work, we now have another council or whatever body they will come up with that will regulate the citizen journalists, because I know it's a big thing. It's a big thing. That's why kila mtu, they have a freedom to say whatever they want and show whatever they want.
Let's get to Chinatown. Let's get to Chinatown. First of all, I was thinking those places, they are pretty much the same. The way the restaurant is set up is pretty much the same as, you see these container restaurants that are like kibanda but si kibanda.
Yeah.
I felt like they were pretty much almost the same when you think about the size, when you think about the tables that are placed there, when you think about how close knit they are next to each other.
It's how he interacted with those he found there, like the ones that they were also eating there. Yeah, how they interacted, they talked, and how he was served also, like basically just simple and
There's some restaurants where it's alleged that the whites, the foreigners, are treated better than the locals. You'll go there, they won't serve you. They'll see a foreigner, they want to run to that table, they want to serve them, and we are just there seated waiting.
I felt like the other thing that I saw that was so different is the story he gave of how the first time he went there, he gave the lady, the owner, the one who served him, rather, a tip. So he gave him the money and then he told him not to give him change back so that he can use the tip. And then I was making reference towards that, and the Kibra guy who forced him to give him more, and he had eaten his kachumbari. And I was just thinking, but also, I think it just shows the societal divide in terms of the economic spaces that we are in. Because in Kibera, it's survival for the fittest. But in Chinatown, it's I'm doing a business because I'm doing a business, not because if it falls down tomorrow, I'm not sure that's a presumption, they will die. But in Kibra, if they do not sell, maybe that's the most sell he's ever done. But also, how do you sell ugali for 500? But discussion for another time.
It's taking the opportunity. If you see an opportunity, you run with it. This guy was like, hey, today is my day. It is my day. Pay me for ungas for the next juice talk. Where the opportunity. Miss him blamed some point, but that was bad.
We should learn from that. How we welcome this person from the diaspora, a stranger. Let us also welcome our fellow Kenyans, our fellow Africans.
Kevin has just said it. I wanted to put this point that people say there's like a relationship between the social class and civilization. Not to say that the people who are quote unquote poor that they are not civilized, but I guess the environment really affects your civilization, because even the guy who was ombaring the kachumbari, like nikama ashazoya kubeg, like he doesn't even think, yeah. Ashazoya kubeg. Even the mama who was selling the samakis, maybe in her head he thought the mzungu just wanted to recruit her and just trend. She didn't think to buy. It's the environment too. We can't blame them entirely. The environment, the way of life there in their environment, it's affecting their civilization and their self-discipline, honestly.
Also, exposure helps, but also exposure can only happen if you also have the means to go to places. But if you are thinking about what to eat today and then you wake up and then think about what you will eat that day, you don't really have the luxury of thinking, oh, let me go and visit Nakuru and see what is happening there. Leave alone Nakuru, let me go to Juja and do Nairobi and see what happens there. But if you don't really do that, then you won't know that some things are not supposed to be done and some things you should do it a different way. As always, we will have our interesting commentary on real estate trends show, and today we've had Mercy, Kevin, and Joanne, and they have shared their opinions and thoughts on the places where Kino Yves has been eating while in Nairobi during the period when he was waiting for his bicycle, the electric bike, to be repaired for him to go to his next adventure. Well, until next time, be sure to join us next week as we look into what he has been up to in his next adventure. Thank you.